Let the noise of your thoughts begin to soften, like waves gently settling after a storm. Notice this simple fact: you are here. You are aware. Before you think about who you are, what your name is, what your past has been, or what your future might look like, there is something much more fundamental, simply this sense that you exist. That is the meaning of I am. It is the most basic recognition, the ground of all experience. Life will never be free from challenges. In fact, it is in the nature of life that as soon as you solve one set of problems, others will appear. This is not a flaw, it is a function. It is how life keeps you alert, awake, and engaged. If everything were permanently perfect on the level of circumstances, you might never look deeper. But when difficulties arise, they can push you to inquire, is there something within me that remains untouched by all this? Is there a place of peace and stillness that does not depend on whether I succeed or fail, whether I am praised or criticized? That place is not far away. It is closer than your next breath. It is simply your being itself, the silent presence that witnesses every thought, every emotion, every sensation. It has no shape, no name, no story. It is pure consciousness. And it is not yours alone. It is the same consciousness that looks through every set of eyes, that animates all of life. An image that can help us sense this is the ocean and the wave. Imagine the surface of the ocean on a windy day, countless waves rising and falling, each one unique. Some are tall, some are small, some are calm, some are turbulent. We could say that each wave has its own temporary life. It appears, it grows, it breaks, and it disappears. From the perspective of the wave, this might seem like a very dramatic story. But if the wave could look deeper into itself, it would realize, I am water. I was never separate from the ocean. Even in the moment I seemed to stand apart, I was still the ocean expressing itself as a wave. This is the same with you. You appear as a unique form, a human being with a personality, a history, preferences, hopes, and fears. All of this is valid on the level of form. But your essence is not limited to this story. Your essence is the ocean of consciousness itself. When you touch that realization directly, fear begins to loosen its grip. Because you understand that even when your particular wave dissolves, when this body grows old and returns to the earth, nothing essential is lost. You remain what you always were. In the Old Testament, when Moses asks God, "Who are you?" the reply is not a name in the conventional sense. It is simply, "I am that I am." These words point beyond any concept or image. They point to pure being. The same being that lives in you. The same being that is aware of these words right now. There is another beautiful teaching in those ancient scriptures, "Be still and know that I am God." What does it mean to be still? It means to rest in the space before thought. To allow the mind to become quiet, like a lake without ripples. In that stillness, you do not cease to exist. On the contrary, you discover that you are more alive than ever. You are present without needing to define yourself. You are simply aware. And this awareness is the source of true wisdom. Not the cleverness of the mind that measures, compares, and judges, but a deeper intelligence that understands life as a whole. The modern world celebrates knowledge and information, but what we truly need is wisdom, an inner knowing that comes from stillness. Language will always be limited in describing this. After all, words are just sounds produced by air passing through vocal cords, shaped by the tongue and lips. How could such simple vibrations ever capture the infinite? And yet, we try, because even an imperfect description can point us toward the truth. Another helpful metaphor is the sun. The sun gives of itself continuously. For millions of years, it has radiated warmth and light without asking anything in return. Without the sun, no life could exist on this planet. In the same way, the source of all being emanates consciousness into this world. At first, that consciousness appears to be dormant, like rocks and minerals, seemingly inert. Then it becomes more dynamic as plants grow and turn toward the light. Later, it expresses itself as animal life, and finally, as the human mind capable of reflecting upon its own existence. When you look within and sense the presence of awareness itself, you are touching this same light. You are the ray of sunlight that carries the warmth of the source. But remember, the ray is never separate from the sun. Even though it appears here, it is always connected. In the same way, when you realize that you are awareness itself, you see that you are never apart from the source of all life. You are not merely a fleeting ripple or a passing beam. You are the vastness itself, expressing temporarily as a person. To know this, not just as a thought, but as a felt reality, is liberation. It does not mean your human challenges disappear, but you meet them from a place of deep peace and trust. You become less afraid of change, because you know that nothing real can be threatened. The wave comes and goes, but the ocean remains. So, be still, and feel the simple fact of your own existence. I am. You do not need to add anything to this statement, not I am this or I am that. Just I am. In this recognition lies the doorway to freedom, to wisdom, and to the profound realization that you are, and always have been, the infinite awareness itself. Life will never be completely free of problems. If you solve 2, 3 more will inevitably appear. Challenges exist to awaken you to your deeper essence, beingness. The verb to be, in the first person, is not I be but I am, the simplest recognition that you are, beyond any thought. This is the realization of yourself not as a personal identity but as pure consciousness, a manifestation of one universal awareness expressing itself in countless temporary forms. When you become rooted in this understanding, fear begins to dissolve, because you recognize that beneath every ripple of form, you are inseparable from the vast ocean of consciousness itself. As the Bible declares, when asked for His name, God answers, I am that I am, pointing to the still, ever-present awareness that is the source of all life. Another profound statement is be still and know that I am God, revealing that stillness, being, and knowing are all expressions of the same essence. While language is too limited to fully capture this transcendent reality, just vibrations of air through vocal cords, we can use images to approximate it. Like the sun that endlessly radiates light and warmth, the source of all existence emanates consciousness into the world, gradually evolving from inert matter to plants, animals, and the human mind. When you sense this consciousness within yourself, you realize you are not merely a fleeting ripple or a passing beam of light. Fundamentally, you are the sun itself, the ocean itself, the infinite, timeless presence that is beyond fear and suffering.